welcome to Raccoon City. So here we have Resident Evil. It is the film, touted as kind of being more closer to the Resident Evil video games. I've played.
Yeah, this is the real Resident Evil movie. We're not dealing with like Alice. We're not dealing with a director's vanity project just showing off. Look how hot my wife is.
Yeah, I mean, this is supposed to be. Hey, this is supposed to be more true to the game. And I've played some of the games. I'm not a huge Resident Evil,
Mhm.
guy, but I have played some of the games myself. Have you? You've played some of the games too, right?
I think I played a little bit of 4. I played a little of 5. I played some of the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah, that's kind of some of my experience playing some of the games. I played way back PlayStation One. I played Resident Evil 3 and beat that game. That was with Jill Valentine, and then I played the RE2 remake. I've played RE4, beat that. I've played a little bit of 7, a little bit of 8. And so I have some familiarity with it, but I'm not like I wouldn't say I'm a huge super fan of the Resident Evil series. But I know a lot of some of the stuff, some of the main stuff from the series. And here, you have a lot of the main characters, right, from the video games. You have Chris and Claire Redfield. You have Jill Valentine. You have Albert
Yeah,
Whisker.
I think for the money, on paper I think it's a solid cast. You have guys like Robbie Amell as Chris Redfield, Tom Hopper from the Umbrella Academy as Albert Wesker, Hannah John Kamen, who we all know from stuff like Black Mirror and Ant-Man and the Wasp as Jill Valentine, and Kaya Scodelario from the Maze Runner series and from this little horror movie Crawl, which is fucking phenomenal as a Jill Valentine. Claire
No,
Redfield.
Claire
Excuse me.
Redfield. Yeah, and so you have Claire Redfield coming into town. Very much opens up like kind of a little bit like RE2 with the truck driver eating a burger. That was in the RE2. Because in that he ate the burger and crashed. So it opens up with that, her hitching a ride with him. And then she's going back into Raccoon City to go visit her brother Chris. And then while she's there in Raccoon City, that's when the fatal virus kind of starts to affect all the people in town and turn them into zombies. While she's kind of heading into town trying to meet her brother, you have Chris Redfield, who goes with his team, who along with him, Jill Valentine, Albert Wesker, and this other no-name guy that is gonna die. Like this other guy that's like, man, dude, it's like that scene in Austin Powers, Michael Caine. It's like, okay, look at you, look at you. You don't even have a name tag, so I know you don't even stand a
You
chance.
didn't even have a name. You didn't even have a name tag. Why don't you just go lie down on the ground there?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you stand no chance. So he was there with all the big name characters from the video game, and it's just some dude, and it's like, yeah, bro, I'm sorry, you ain't making it.
He might as well have said, "Look, guys, I got like 2 weeks until retirement, so let's just get this shit done."
I mean, pretty much. So they lead a team to go to the Spencer Mansion, and as Dante from the chat he pointed out. Yes, they combine the plot lines from the RE1 and RE2 together, and I'll explain later why that's such a big problem in this with this movie. So, a large problem with this movie is that first of all, I'll get into the effects of it. The look of this movie looks like something that should be on Netflix. That's why when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, this is like something that should be released on Netflix and not on the big screen, because on the big screen, this is only a $40 million budget. Definitely not enough money to do what you want to do special effects wise. They try to bring in a lot of creatures from the game, the zombie dog and other kind of big boss creatures there, and it looks bad. It looks really really bad. I mean, it looks like something like from like from a Neil Breen movie or something like that. Like it looks really 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 bad.
Yeah, the effects I see in the trailer, they look like something that you'd see on the CW. They look I'd say they look better than the effects on the new season of The Flash, but that ain't saying much.
Yeah, I mean it looks really bad. And I think that it's also the story they're trying to do, cramming both, trying to do the RE1 and RE2. And this movie's only an hour and 47 minutes, so a lot of it feels rushed, convoluted, slapped together. it feels like two movies that got jammed into one, that got taped together. I think that instead of like, you know how you'll have in a movie, you'll have an A storyline, you'll have a B storyline. This, it just feels
Mhm.
like it's just two movies that got taped together, and then they just jammed a bunch of stuff, and it's like, oh, we need this from the video game, or we need this from the video game, stuff that you could have cut out because inconvenience for when you're doing a movie that, you know, you get that audiences may not get this, or you know, they, so you just kind of leave it out. Like there's a character that Claire meets in her childhood, you see at the beginning, like in an orphanage. And I think that would be lost on a lot of people. Like it was kind of lost on me until I had somebody explain it to me of like what this character is supposed to do and the purpose of this character. So, oh yeah, that's from the video game, and the character kind of follows you around and everything like that. I'm like, oh okay, I had no idea what was going on with that character in it. And then when it comes to the characters themselves, a lot of them feel very flat, very boring. You know, I don't think walking away from this you would go like, oh, you know, these are such great characters. You know, Chris Redfield, Claire Redfield, Jill Valentine. These are, you know, big characters from the video game. And I think watching this, you wouldn't get the sense that these are, you know, great characters that you would want to see and follow. And especially, I think the most egregious thing they do is, now again, like I said, I'm not a huge person with the video games. I couldn't tell you all the lore, and I couldn't tell you all the, you know, if these actors really do a great characterization when it comes to the performances they do of the characters from the video game. But I can tell you the most egregious thing is with Leon Kennedy. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And I think that one is the most egregious one because they just make him a fucking idiot. I mean, they make him just straight up just terrible. Because you know, I get, because his whole thing is he's the rookie cop coming in to Raccoon City, and you know, I get the, okay, the whole thing, him being a rookie. Okay, you may be kind of, you know, wet behind the ears, but they just make him
Yeah,
just
yeah,
stupid.
yeah. Yeah. There's a difference between like rookie cop that you see. I'm guessing in this, and then in some of the animated Resident Evil movies where he's basically John Wick.
Yeah. And I, because like this one scene in here where Claire Redfield, she saves somebody with a fire hydrant, and then he runs up and is like, "Put down the gun." I'm like, is this dude so stupid that he doesn't know the difference between when somebody's holding a fire hydrant and then when somebody's
I
holding a gun?
mean, I
Like,
mean,
what?
I've been in the military. I've done like a little bit of security training, and that actually sounds kind of realistic.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe because I mean, you have cops saying like, "I saw cell phone gun," and they fire and they shoot a dude 20 times. I mean, you do have stories like that. So, I mean, maybe people just are that stupid. I mean, I don't know. Maybe,
I mean, shit, ACAB, I guess.
yeah. So yeah, a lot of the stuff they do with him is just kind of really terrible, and he's just completely weak and ineffectual. And the whole reason why he's, you know, in Raccoon City, I mean, like, you know, they tease him about going there because he messed up in training and he accidentally shot somebody. You know, it's like, okay.
So you give him a gun and you make him a cop? What the fuck?
Well, they say that his dad was high on the police force and he saved him and bailed him out, and that's why, you know, he's there. Kind of, he was able to save him and everything like that. But it's just like, yeah, I mean, if they, I mean, if they, you actually did that, then yeah, I mean, you kind of deserve to. Yeah, I mean, you don't even deserve
Oh,
to be.
okay. Okay, I'm just gonna save my questions and actually see the thing. But it's a shame to hear because I think Avon Joja, I don't think the guy is untalented. I really like him in stuff like Zombieland 2, his little small role there. And I think he's really good in that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, I think maybe he could have been good. You know, I mean, there's a conversation he has with Claire Redfield. He's like, yeah, yeah. I mean, you're probably wondering why I'm a cop. You know, I was kind of just thinking in my head, like, oh yeah, you know, you went to high school, did some, you know, acting classes, singing, you know, with Ariana Grande. You know, you're supposed to be a college, you're supposed to go to college, you know, maybe major there, be an actor, but things didn't work out. You know what I mean? Then you just went to the police force. You know, that's kind of my own head canon. Is this, you know, since he was in Victorious, you know what I mean, with Victoria Justice. I remember him back in
Oh, I
his,
forgot he was in that.
yeah, I remember him back in his, what that show come on, Nickelodeon days, yeah, when he was there with Ariana Grande. But yeah, and then a lot of the dialogue is awful, is really terrible. They try to fit in, you know, some of the dialogue from the video games, like, oh, she was a Jill sandwich. They fit that in there. They do all that kind of different stuff in there. And a lot of that is just really terrible. Um, and yeah, I mean, nobody has really good character, you know, development, good characterization in here at all, which is very poor. I mean, it's tough to say like anything I really liked about it. Honestly, I think the only scene I liked was there's a scene where they're in the Spencer mansion, and Chris Warefield's getting attacked by a bunch of zombies, and like there's a scene where like it's completely in darkness and the flash from the gun is where you see the zombies, so he's shooting the zombies and the zombies are coming and you can only see it because the flash from the gun. And there's a scene where he's got like a lighter and then all the zombies are coming at him and he's like flicks the lighter and then it goes off, then the zombie disappears like you see in the dark, and then the flicks the lighter back on and it gets closer and closer. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought the way that scene was shot was actually pretty well done and pretty cool. But other than that, I think everything else was pretty terrible. Donald Logue, I actually just was I like that. Donald Logue can really make anything good because he's Donald Logue and he plays bad, dirty
Yeah,
cop well.
yeah. Donald Logue is one of those guys who elevates everything he's in. He's one of the best parts about Gotham as a Harvey Bullock.
Oh yeah, definitely. He makes an awesome Harvey Bullock. I mean, he was one of the main reasons I stuck watching that show for as long as I did.
Yeah, he manages to bring something to stuff like Blade.
Oh yeah, very good in Blade. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, he's good here. I mean, he plays the chief of the Raccoon City Police.
I just
There.
wait. You're like, let's go, zombies. We gonna jack you up, make her bad. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, he's a lot of fun, and you know what I mean. So Donald Logue, I mean, he kind of makes it work. But yeah, I mean, this was a rough one, and it for a movie like I said, it's only an hour and 47 minutes. It feels way longer than what it is, even though it's an hour and 47, and yeah. And it's almost like yeah, maybe I kind of maybe miss W.S. Anderson coming in with his wife and doing it with Alice because I say
Oof.
because
Oh,
I think those
God
movies were
damn.
I think those movies were at least they were kind of fun. I mean, like some crazy shit, and there was some crazy action scenes, and her flipping up walls, and she had like superpowers and all this other shit. I was like, at least okay, some crazy shit like that. I'm like, wow, okay, well at least that was kind of somewhat as dumb as hell, but it was at least kind of exciting to watch.
Okay, one and three I'll give you. I'll give you one and three. Those were actually kind of fun, but Underworld did it so much better.
The only Underworld movie I ever liked was Rise of Lycans. That's the only one I ever liked.
Give Awakening a second chance. That movie's awesome.
Okay, maybe I'll give that another chance. But yeah, I mean, I mean, this one I was bored. I can never say I was quite bored with the W.S. Anderson movies, even though they were shitty. I don't think I would say I was bored by them. This one I was just kind of bored, and I just thought it was overall terrible. So yeah, I'd say tune out for this one. I think that yeah, you just be better off just still playing the video games and yeah, I mean, and just kind of just doing that instead of just watching this, which is a mismatch of the first and second game. If you had $40 million budget, should have just made it smaller because the zombies themselves, the design and look of the zombies, they actually look good. I think they look pretty good, and the way they kind of do those zombies look pretty well. Focus on a smaller story with some of the characters. Especially, they let you know these are the characters from the video game because they take time to, hey, Jill Valentine, hey, Leon S. Kennedy, hey, Chris and Claire Redfield. I mean, they take their time to let you know, hey, we got these characters in the game. You this is what you people wanted, right? You wanted these guys, right? Okay, here you go. They take time to let you know, like, hey, we got these characters from the video game in the movie, just to let you know. It's like, okay, all right, thanks.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that was kind of my thoughts there on Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City.
Oof.
All right. Dante said the Jill sandwich line almost made him walk out of the theater. Yeah, that was a rough one. I mean, the thing is, you could have made that work because that's a corny line from the video game that said if you had somebody that knew how to write it well, maybe you could have made it work as a funny kind of thing. Yeah, so but it didn't work there. World there.